Sometimes the most powerful stories are hiding right in plain sight. Take a look at this. It's the cover of a short play, but it holds a family secret that's been buried for 50 years. We're talking about a story of anger, abuse, and a kind of forgiveness you would never expect. So let's dig into what's really going on here.
At first, this looks like a peaceful scene. You've got a father and son in a military cemetery, with this huge, beautiful oak tree providing shelter. But you gotta look closer. This isn't just some quiet moment of reflection. Nope, this is the exact moment a 50-year-old secret is about to shatter the silence.
So our story kicks off right here, in this veteran cemetery, with a single conversation that is about to change absolutely everything for a man named George. Okay, just try to imagine this. You're standing there with your father, the man you've known your whole life, and he just drops this on you. Son, let me introduce you to your actual grandfather. This is the bombshell that kicks off the whole play. The man George always thought was his grandfather, well, he wasn't. All of a sudden, this name etched on a headstone, Clifford George Thomas, it becomes this massive mystery. It's not just a name anymore. It's like a ghost from a past that George had no idea even existed. So the big question, the one that changes everything is, who was this man?
The play untangles this pretty quickly for us. See, for his entire life, George knew a man he called Pop. He thought Pop was his grandfather. But the truth? Pop was his step-grandfather. The man buried right here, Clifford, he was his father's biological dad, a total and complete stranger.
So why? Why the 50-year secret? Why was this man just completely erased from the family history? Well, the answer goes back to a single memory, a memory of such profound cruelty that it basically shaped his son's entire life. Let's go back to 1964. The Beatles have just exploded onto the scene after being on Ed Sullivan, and you've got this 10-year-old boy, Thomas, who is so inspired by the music. He learns to play the guitar while his father, Clifford, is away at sea with the Navy. All he wants in the world is to make his dad proud.
And he wasn't just messing around with pop songs. No, he learned God Bless America and the Star-Spangled Banner. He poured his entire heart into it, practicing every single day, just picturing that look of pride he was going to see on his father's face.
But when his father came home, there was no pride. Not even a little. After drinking his daily case of beer, Clifford just declared that his son had wasted his time learning to play the instrument of the devil. He was just convinced it would lead to rock and roll. Right there, in front of the whole neighborhood, on the concrete front steps of their house, Clifford Thomas grabs his son's new guitar. Thomas says he remembers the moment like it was in slow motion, his father just raising the instrument high over his head. And then, boom, he brought it down with everything he had, just shattering it against the stairs. Then he picked up the splintered neck, handed it back to his 10-year-old son and said, "That's how I feel about your performance." And the devastation didn't stop there. When Thomas ran to his room, just completely heartbroken, he found all of his records. The Beatles, the Beach Boys, every single one was snapped in half and just piled on his bed. It was an act of total emotional and physical destruction. For 50 years, Thomas carried the rage from that day, and honestly, countless other abuses. But standing there, at the grave, something starts to shift inside him. And the reason why? Well, it's something nobody could have ever predicted. So Thomas admits it. He says he came to this grave to finally let out 50 years of pent-up anger. But now that he's here, something else is happening. He can feel his anger changing, reshifting, and the big question is, why? And the reason for this sudden shift actually brings us right back to the cover art itself. You see that big, beautiful oak tree? It just dominates the image. It's this powerful symbol of shade, of comfort and peace over all these graves. But then Thomas looks around and he realizes something. His father's grave, it's just out in the open, baking under the hot summer sun. There's no tree, no shelter, no shade. And this becomes the real heart of the play. Thomas is just blown away to find himself feeling pity. He remembers his father absolutely hated sweating. It would drive him crazy. And now, all he can think about is, why do I care? Why, after 50 years of carrying all this anger for this man, this monster, why do I care that he has no shade? This unexpected moment of compassion forces Thomas to look at the whole picture of his father, a man who wasn't just one thing, but two completely opposite things
all at the same time.
Because you see, the same man who smashed his little boy's guitar was also a highly decorated patriot. This guy served his country for almost 25 years in the Navy. He fought in Korea, in Vietnam, and in the Bay of Pigs conflict. By every military standard, he was a true American hero.
So how do you even begin to reconcile those two things? How can a monster and a hero be the exact same person? It's a brilliant look at the messy, complicated truth of who we are as human beings. People are rarely just one thing, are they?
In the end, Thomas decides not to erase his father, but to explain him. He turns to his own son, George, and tells him that he's going to share the whole story, the good and the bad, because they both carry his legacy. It's this promise to tell the truth, no matter how hard it is.
And so that leaves us right back here, looking at this image and wrestling with the play's central, really profound question. What does it actually mean to offer comfort? To offer shade to someone who caused you so much pain and who lived in so much darkness themselves?